The fall of the Berlin Wall, the end of a divided world introduction. The Berlin Wall, one of the most enduring symbols of the Cold War, was a concrete barrier that physically and ideologically divided Berlin, Germany, and much of the world. Built in 1961 by the German Democratic Republic, GDR, or East Germany, the wall stood for nearly 3 decades as a stark reminder of the division between East and West, communism and democracy. Its fall on November 9, 1989, was a monumental event that signaled not only the reunification of Germany, but also the beginning of the end of the Cold War. This moment marked the collapse of the Iron Curtain and reshaped the global political landscape forever. The context of the Berlin Wall. In the aftermath of World War II, Germany was divided into 4 occupation zones controlled by the United States, Soviet Union, Britain, and France. Tensions between the Soviet Union and Western powers grew, leading to the creation of 2 distinct German states in 1949, West Germany, Federal Republic of Germany, and East Germany, German Democratic Republic. Berlin, though located deep within East Germany, was similarly divided between the Western Allies and the Soviets. East Germany, backed by the Soviet Union, embraced communism, while West Germany, supported by the West, adopted a democratic government and a capitalist economy. The prosperity of West Berlin, in contrast to the struggling East, led to a massive migration of East Germans to the West through Berlin. To stop this exodus, East Germany constructed the Berlin Wall in 1961, isolating West Berlin and cutting off access for East Germans. The wall soon became a symbol of oppression, with armed guards stationed to prevent anyone from crossing. Thousands attempted to flee, and many lost their lives trying to escape from east to west. It was more than just a physical barrier. It represented the ideological divide between the communist East, controlled by the Soviet Union, and the democratic West, led by the United States and its NATO allies. Life in a divided city life in East Berlin under the shadow of the wall was harsh. The communist government maintained tight control over every aspect of daily life. Citizens were watched by the Stasi, the secret police, and anyone suspected of dissent could face imprisonment or worse. Economic conditions were bleak, with shortages of consumer goods and limited personal freedoms. Meanwhile, West Berlin flourished as a free city under Western influence. Its vibrant economy, culture, and access to consumer goods stood in stark contrast to life in the East. Despite being encircled by the wall, West Berlin became a beacon of freedom, with West Germans living relatively prosperous lives. Families were torn apart by the wall, with loved ones unable to visit each other, even if they lived just a few streets away. The wall divided not just a city, but families, friends, and an entire nation. The road to reunification. By the late 1980s, the political climate in Europe was shifting. In the Soviet Union, Mikhail Gorbachev introduced glasnost, openness, and perestroika, restructuring, in an effort to reform the struggling Soviet system. These reforms created a wave of liberalization throughout Eastern Europe, including East Germany. The East German government, under Erich Honecker, resisted change, but pressure from the people mounted. Pro-democracy protests began to spread across East Germany, particularly in cities like Leipzig. These demonstrations were inspired by similar movements in neighboring countries like Poland and Hungary, where communist governments were beginning to give way to reforms. On November 9, 1989, after weeks of growing protests, the East German government made an unexpected announcement. Travel restrictions would be eased, allowing East Germans to cross into West Berlin. Confusion surrounded the announcement, but by evening, thousands of East Berliners gathered at the checkpoints along the Berlin Wall, demanding to cross. Overwhelmed and unprepared, the border guards eventually opened the gates. As the world watched in awe, East and West Berliners climbed atop the Berlin Wall, celebrating and tearing down pieces of the barrier that had divided them for so long. It was a moment of profound joy and disbelief, an iconic image of unity after decades of division. The aftermath and reunification of Germany. The fall of the Berlin Wall marked the beginning of the end for East Germany. In the months that followed, political change swept through the country, and on October 3, 1990, Germany was officially reunified. The once divided nation became a symbol of hope for the possibility of peace and democracy prevailing over division and dictatorship. The reunification of Germany was not without its challenges. Integrating two vastly different political and economic systems was a complex process, and the transition was difficult for many East Germans. However, the fall of the Berlin Wall remains one of the most important milestones in modern history, a victory for democracy, freedom, and human rights. Global impact. The fall of the Berlin Wall had a ripple effect that extended far beyond Germany. It was the symbolic end of the Cold War, signaling the collapse of communist regimes throughout Eastern Europe. In the years that followed, countries like Czechoslovakia, Romania, Poland, and Hungary shed their authoritarian governments and transitioned to democratic rule. The dissolution of the Soviet Union followed in 1991, further cementing the end of decades of geopolitical tension between East and West. The reunification of Germany and the collapse of the Eastern Bloc reshaped Europe, leading to the expansion of the European Union and NATO and fostering a more unified continent. Legacy of the Berlin Wall today, remnants of the Berlin Wall stand as a reminder of the division and the struggle for freedom. In Berlin, the East Side Gallery, a preserved section of the wall covered in murals, serves as a poignant symbol of hope and the power of people to overcome oppression. The fall of the Berlin Wall continues to inspire movements for freedom and unity around the world. It is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the belief that even the most entrenched divisions can be overcome. Conclusion. The story of the Berlin Wall's rise and fall is more than just a tale of a divided city. It is the story of a world that was divided by ideology and the courageous individuals who dared to demand freedom. The fall of the Berlin Wall will forever stand as a symbol of the triumph of democracy over dictatorship and the power of unity over division. It was the end of a divided world and the beginning of a new era of hope and peace.